Hello party people, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Chapter 1. In this worldwide award-winning video, I will expose some very damning information against pathological liar Nicole Atkinson. No, this video is not about whether Atkinson faked her cancer for pity or money. Coder wondered aloud if Chris was a monster, which Chris emphatically denied.
It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. So either you're this monster who says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something. So I think we're very, very close to the truth, but not quite there yet. So if you're not that monster...
I'm not a monster. I didn't kill my babies.
Okay.
Chris denied being a monster and denied killing his babies. But is Nicole Atkinson the real monster in this case that Coder should have been questioning? That will be for you to decide. And if she is a monster, just what kind of monster is she? So let's begin Chapter 1 and see. There are all kinds of monsters out there, and they come in all shapes and sizes. From the Gila Monster, to the elusive and famous Loch Ness Monster, and everything in between. I could spend a whole chapter on them, but I'm not going to, because this video is only one chapter long. So while this video only requires one chapter, it does have a preface, and here it is. The FBI are the FBI. And Team Phoenix said he had 30 years experience. So between Team Phoenix and the FBI, we're talking over 150 years of experience.
The Special Agent Tory Smith, the FBI agent, I think it was done on the 15th of August. Now, it's very important to note, as Agent Smith has noted in the discovery, that there is a 2-hour discrepancy in the router times. The router was set to Pacific time. Local time in Colorado, of course, was Mountain time. So the router log is 2 hours behind in its times. So that's just something that you need to bear in mind when you're looking at the log. I've spent 30 years working in IT, in both system support and networking. I'm a Microsoft certified professional from many years ago. I'm very confident in I know exactly what I'm talking about when I look at this router log.
Team Phoenix claims that we must add 2 hours to the router time, because the FBI said the router was in Pacific time, and Colorado was in Mountain time. Pacific time is 2 hours earlier than Mountain time. But in my previous video on this subject, I asked if Team Phoenix was correct about this, because I am no router expert. So I sat down with a cigarette and had to think about it, and before my cig was finished, I figured it out and became the world's living, leading, breathing expert on it. And yup, Team Phoenix is wrong. Sure, my cig was a king-size cig, not a regular size, but it still only took me less than 5 minutes to figure out. And I gotta tell you, I just gotta fucking tell you, I was not one bit surprised by what I found. And here's why. In my previous video on Shannon's watch connecting to the router at 2:07 p.m., I said it proved that the watch was in Chris's truck when he arrived home at 2:07 p.m., because the watch connected to the router at the very same time that Chris arrived home. This was a killer clue. But then I figured out the router stuff while smoking that 5-minute-long king-size cigarette. Could the truth be that the watch did not connect at 2:07 p.m., because we do not have to add 2 hours to the router timeline? This would prove the watch connected to the router at 12:07 p.m., when Nicole Atkinson arrived at Chris Watt's house. It's no secret that Atkinson was on Chris's doorbell camera at Chris's front door at 12:10 p.m. The watch would have connected to the router when Atkinson arrived in the driveway, a few minutes before she was at the front door. And Chris admitted to Officer James that two people arrived at his house, and Chris said he saw them at 12:02 p.m. and 12:10 p.m.
At the 12:10. See, was it front door? That was you.
Did you have any alerts today with that?
Just when her friends were here.
Does it only record when the doorbell rings or anytime someone...
If you're like right here, it should just start, the proximity should hit up.
Anything on that today?
Just her friends.
And what time was that?
12:10 and about 10 minutes afternoon.
Off. And then her friend Nicole showed up about a little afternoon. I could see it on the doorbell camera. And like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, but she never got back to me, but she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well. And that's what really concerned a lot of people, is like, if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine, like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door.
Nothing. And then about 12:10 p.m., that's when my doorbell visitor, another visitor, and I was like, hey, it popped up on my phone, and it says it was Nicole. And I tried to put it on my phone to see if she's just trying to get in or whatnot. And I hear her, like, she's on the phone trying to, I could hear her all through my phone saying she was trying to get to Shanann, so that's when I called her. And then at 12:10, that's when Nicole showed up at the house. So I got a alert saying the doorbell detected a visitor, and that's when I called her.
Chris stutters when he told James 12:02 p.m. because he wasn't supposed to say that time.
Anything on that today?
Just her friends.
And what time was that?
12:10 and about 10 minutes afternoon.
When Atkinson does her police interview, she's stressed out because she already thought that she was going to be charged with a crime in the case. No innocent person would think they are going to be charged with a crime. So when Atkinson is telling Cop Zentner her story, Atkinson is mixing in truths with her bullshit. At various times, Atkinson is about to say things that she is not supposed to say, and she catches herself, then changes what she says, and at times changes the entire subject. Here Atkinson says that the reason she went to Shannon's house was because she watched Dog Dieter the week before. Then she changes what she was going to say.
So at 11:46, I said, I'm very worried about you. I'm coming to your house. And the reason I decided to go to her house was because I had watched the dog Dieter, the week before, and I didn't bother Chris because I knew he figured he was at work. But
here Atkinson wasn't supposed to tell the cop that she called Chris. So when she catches herself, she changes it to she texted Shannon, which was a complete lie.
in contact with Cassie and Christina all morning because these are people that would normally talk to her every day. I called them. I'm like, what do I do? Chris said she's with a friend. And they were like, go back to the house and call the cops. So then I did. I drove back to the house and I called Chris again. I said, I'm going back to, I texted Shanann again. Don't mean to jump around.
Now Atkinson appears to say her mom and dad, then changes what she was going to say again.
I was supposed to watch the girls when they got back because they had the ultrasound video of the baby to find out what they were having, because the next weekend when we got back from Arizona, which would be this weekend, we were supposed to do a gender reveal party for them. So they flew in Tuesday night late, and I was over at their house Wednesday night before we left. I went over and watched the girls, played with them, painted their nails, that kind of thing, hung out with them. My mom and dad went. But Chris was really weird when he came home that night. He did not say hi to me.
Now here Atkinson totally admits she entered the house through the garage door. She telling the truth because the garage door was open when she first arrived.
Okay. How did he let you in?
He opened the garage door.
Okay. So
And it didn't dawn on me.
There's a front door and then a back sliding glass door.
Yeah.
And then is there a door through the garage as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. It didn't dawn on me at the time because he went to open the front door so we could come inside. But when we walked into the garage, or when the garage door opened, he immediately opened the car door and then bolted for the house. Like, the more, like, I've been trying to play this through my head so many times in the last 2 days.
Okay, let me see if I've got this straight. So he opens the garage door, and it's you and Chris,
The police
and
officer.
the police officer.
My 16-year-old. My 2-year-old, I think, was playing in the front seat of the car still at that point. And the neighbor might have been there by that point. The neighbor came over at some point.
Okay, so the garage door goes up.
Uh-huh.
And is Chris in first?
Yeah.
Who's behind him?
I think it was the police officer and then me and my son.
Okay, so as Chris walks by, what car is in the garage?
It's a white Lexus.
Okay, is it one of the SUV type
Yeah.
vehicles? I don't
Like
know.
a Ford Explorer type version.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so he walks along the passenger side? I'm sorry, along the driver's side?
No, passenger side.
Passenger side.
And he opens the door. And it didn't...
Front or?
Front passenger door.
Front passenger door. Okay.
And I don't know why that's sticking out of my head, but it like distracted all of us because I started looking at the car and then I looked to see if the girls' car seats were in there and whatever. And then he went and opened the front door and it, like, I didn't even dawn to go on the front door. We all went through the garage. But he went around and opened the front door, did whatever he did.
Atkinson admitting she went into the house through the garage door was a huge slip-up because Vivant confirmed the garage door was open after Chris left for work. Vivant confirmed that the garage door was left open when Chris left for work.
It says at 5:27 a.m. the overhead garage door 2 was left open and never shut. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. She didn't leave out the front door, I can't see it. Well, yeah, I can look at that and see. But it's so random because it goes off and on here lately. It gets false trips. They told me it was open when I got here. I know it doesn't make any sense at all. And my Vivant said that at 5:27 my garage door was left open. And the only thing that was weird was that the garage door said it was left open after I left.
The only thing that was strange about mine that morning was that when I left it said garage door 2 remained open.
When you left? Were you parked in the garage when you left?
I pulled out and it said, I thought it shut.
Oh, okay.
And it said main garage door 2 open when I went back and looked at all the history. And Nicole said that it was shut when she got there.
Okay.
But it said it was, because on my notifications, it'll say something's left open, but it won't say when it's shut. The only thing that I saw that was really strange was that when I left, it said the garage door stayed open.
Were all the doors around the house locked?
Front door was locked. The garage door was unlocked, but that's normal.
Vivant, not Chris, confirmed the garage door was still partly open when Chris left at 5:46 a.m. party people. So when Atkinson first entered the house, she admits she entered through the garage door. And Atkinson, at a minimum, appears to have planted the luggage, with the white name tag facing in the wrong direction, and planted the flip-flops by the front door. But since the watch connected to the router at 12:07 p.m., it proves that Atkinson had Shannon's watch with her, and she might have also planted the watch in the sofa at this time. Or did Atkinson only give Chris the watch when she secretly returned to Chris's house at 2:32 p.m. on Tuesday, and after the dog search was over? For me, I now think Atkinson gave Chris the watch on Tuesday after the dog search. And the reason I now believe this is because, as one of my smart viewers named Heather points out, the dog did not sniff out the watch in the sofa during the dog search, so the watch could not have been in the sofa when the dogs did their search. The dogs did their search on Tuesday, and the dog search ended before Atkinson secretly returned to Chris's house at 2:32 p.m. So there you have it, party people. When Chris said Vivant confirmed Atkinson was at his front door and on his doorbell camera at 12:10 p.m., his phone bill confirmed the time was correct, and we did not need to add 2 hours to the router time. The doorbell video is allegedly from August 13th, and Chris said his Vivant system showed a time of 1:48 a.m.
But nothing between the time when she got here this
No,
morning?
like she got here at 2. Only thing
This morning?
Yeah, 2 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Like 1:48 on here. Yeah, 2 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Like 1:48 on here. 2 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Like 1:48 on here.
Okay.
Like 1:48 on here.
Chris confirmed the time was correct. It was 1:48 a.m. on Vivant's system. Well, guess what? Nate's camera also shows the same time of 1:48 a.m. So clearly Chris's router was not off by 2 hours, and Nate's independent security system proves it. And since Nate's camera time matches Chris's Vivant time, Nate's camera also proves, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Shannon's watch connected to the router at 12:07 p.m., not at 2:07 p.m. The police obtained the Vivant records by warrant, and it would be a criminal offense for Vivant to provide false information. At no time did Vivant state the records were off by 2 hours. Only the same law enforcement organization, who made the fake 5:18 a.m. video, falsely claimed the Vivant times are off by 2 hours.
You can imagine the FBI has some pretty cool tricks and toys and everything. If we wanted to bring a lot more people with a lot more tools and tricks to your house, could we do that tonight? I'm going to help organize the search of your house tonight. Some of the things we need to do at your house are better at night and some are better in the morning. So we're going to probably split the difference and start very early in the morning.
The Special Agent Tori Smith, the FBI agent, I think it was done on the 15th of August. Now, it's very important to note, as Agent Smith has noted in the discovery, that there is a 2-hour discrepancy.
However, Nate's independent security system proves, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the FBI are lying. Nate's camera time of 1:48 a.m. matched Chris's camera time of 1:48 a.m. on Monday, August 13th. Therefore, there was not a 2-hour difference in time on Monday. Chris lived in Colorado, so there is no reason Chris's router would be in Pacific time. Vivant is from Provo, Utah, and Provo, Utah is in the same time zone as Frederick, Colorado, Mountain Daylight Saving Time. So, once again, there is no reason that Chris's router would be in Pacific time. Someone who knew what they were doing switched the router time to Pacific time. And someone switched it to Pacific time after Tuesday, because it was showing the correct time on Monday. And on Monday, Shannon's watch connected to the router at 12:07 p.m. Chris wasn't even home at 12:07 p.m., and Chris admits he saw Atkinson and another friend on his doorbell video at 12:02 p.m. and 12:10 p.m. And 12:07 p.m. is in between 12:02 p.m. and 12:10 p.m. Chris told Tammy Lee that he did all the tech stuff in his house, and if his router was off, then Chris would have fixed it. But it did not require fixing because Chris was looking right at his phone when he was telling Coonrod then James the times when Nicole Atkinson arrived, when his garage door was left open, and when Shannon got home. The only person who was tampering with Chris's router administration was the police at 6:22 a.m. on Wednesday, August 15th. And here is the proof. It says so right in the router time log.
But does that translate into like my husband is a techie guy in our family, so like he sets up all our routers, like when I get a new phone, he sets up my phone for me just because he has that brain that I don't have as far as being a techie person. So are you kind of that person in your family?
I do that. I can do that kind of stuff. I can't do code or anything like
right.
that. Right.
You're not writing computer code?
No, I can't. 0101, that's right. All that kind of stuff.
Right, okay. So there was a doorbell thing, is that what you said?
Yeah.
At 1:48?
Mm-hmm.
Describe the doorbell thing.
So it's got whenever a proximity, she walks up.
Like a motion thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And now, is that tied to a home security system, or is it just a single doorbell thing?
That doorbell records it on to the our control panel.
So it's all tied together?
Yeah.
Like garage alarms?
Yeah, everything.
Alarms,
yeah.
Window, whatever.
Well, there's no windows, but just
okay.
There's a living room motion thing and a basement motion, and we have open and shut. Sensors on the basement door, and the sliding door, and obviously the front door and both garage doors.
So is it anytime they're open, or just if they're open for an extended period of time?
So like, if a door is left open, after a certain amount of time, it'll say, the front door at 2825 Saratoga Trail has been left open.
So did it alert you that she was outside using the keypad to get in when she got home, or?
No, it picked her up walking up to the door.
And did it alert you that?
When I saw it the next morning when I woke up.
It wasn't enough that it woke you up.
Oh no, it's very like a faint like ding type thing.
And what's the living room one? What's that for?
It's just a motion detector. Like if like you set alarm to away, like you know nobody's gonna be in the house. That's stuff like that. It'll pick that up and set alarm off.
Is it on when you're home though?
No, like we set it to away while you're home. You're just gonna check the alarm.
Okay. So you don't have any of those like active, I guess, when you're at
well, it's always active, but it's not set to. You can set it to away and stay or disarmed, but it's still gonna pick it up.
Oh, okay.
Like if you look on my phone, like you go to the Vivant app, it'll show you like living room motion system detected.
So and I guess so just for my own knowledge, did you actually look at that? Obviously, when she went missing, and the girls, did you look at your living room alarms and that? I mean, to see if there was stuff going on.
It doesn't like once because we had so many like doorbell trips because it was messing up so much as far as like little things setting it off. I can only go to the history so far.
So you don't pay for the cloud storage for that?
No.
Okay. Is that an option?
They had never given it to me.
Okay.
But like.
So how far did it go back?
I'm not sure how many like different like events that it can store. Like it'll have notifications, you can scroll it eventually just ends. Not sure how long it'll actually keep it.
So when this all happened, did you look on there and it like?
The only thing that I saw that was really strange was that when I left, it said the garage door stayed open.
And so if that was on there at 5 whatever in the morning, right? Wouldn't the other stuff still be there too that happened after? Like if there was motion in the living room or the basement or whatever?
It should have been the only thing. There was like a basement door left open and garage door left open.
Oh, when was the basement door left open?
It was about the same time.
5:27?
Yeah, it was like within a minute.
And then what was the other one, did you say?
That garage door left open.
Was the basement door open when you went back?
Not that I remember. Like when I got there, everything was shut. Garage door was shut, basement door was shut.
What, like, you go out to the basement, like,
the basement
is it a walkout?
No.
Oh.
It's a garden level.
Okay.
So there's like the windows, I mean, you can see the backyard. It's not like one of the ones that's like a normal one where it's like a deep dive, like where you have to look up to see like the level of the grass.
So what's the basement door then? I guess
so the basement door is like when you walk in you walk into the house through the garage, and then as you're walking to the living room, you take a right, and then that's the basement door that leads down into the basement.
Oh, so that door has an alarm?
That has a sensor that tells you when it's open, because since it's a garden level basement, the windows, you can walk into the backyard and you can open a window. You don't have to dip down, you just open a window and you can walk in, type of thing.
So there's an alarm on the
interior
door because...
Yeah, because like you could,
in case an intruder came in
through the window,
basement?
yeah, like stuff like that.
Okay. And that one went off too. Like, was that before the garage or after the garage? Which one was first?
One was at 526, one was at 527. I think the 527 one was the garage, and the 526 was basement left open.
Do you get those a lot, or do you guys even hang out in the basement usually, or?
I'm usually down there just to like work out, but I didn't work out that morning, so like it definitely wasn't open when I left.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Carrying on off track.
You're fine.
So the Ring doorbell goes to your phone. Like, how do you log into that system?
It's just an app.
It's just an app. What is the app called?
Vivant.
And does she have that app as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Should be on the phone.
Is it your login? Is it her login? You guys
Hers.
It's her login?
Yep.
So is it her email and password? What is her email?
ShanannWatch@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Her go-to password?
Yeah, it's a phone number.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. So...
It's a phone number, not hers, but it's a phone number.
Right. Okay. So I know, like, I have a Ring doorbell, and, like, our flag will shut it off sometimes, you know.
Yeah, that's why I took my flag down, because, like, it kept, like, after we had, like, the camera reset, because it wasn't working for a little bit, it was picking up, I thought it was the flag, but, like, it wasn't. It was, like, picking up just, like, the tree moving around, and the bush, like a branch or something. Or
a shadow or something, like, yeah, I feel like ours does that too, so. Is that the system that was installed in the home when you moved in, or is that something that you guys installed? When did you guys install that?
I would guess 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Okay.
What you just saw in this video with your own eyes, and what you just heard with your own ears, was a confession by Nicole Atkinson. Atkinson admitted she was at Chris Watt's house at 12:10 p.m. Chris admits she and her friend first arrived at 12:02 p.m. Shannon's watch connected at 12:07 p.m. Chris is at 10:29 at 12:10 p.m., and there are 4 witnesses who saw Chris there at that time: Troy, Cody, Chad, and Melissa. So Chris did not have the watch with him, because Atkinson had it. What was Atkinson doing with Shannon's watch, if Atkinson had nothing to do with Shannon's disappearance? Why does Atkinson have Shannon's watch, if Shannon got home and went into her house at 1:48 a.m.? Yeah, that 5-minute long cigarette I had, which only cost me 13 cents, could cost Nicole Atkinson a lifetime, because this might be the biggest killer clue there is that Atkinson was directly involved. Now, who was the other woman with Atkinson at 12:10 p.m., party people? Go ask Atkinson. So there you have it, party people. The Monster. Chapter 1, Nicole Atkinson. No filler. No dead air. No fake Nicole Kessinger news for views and profit. If the router wasn't off by 2 hours, then Atkinson's admission that she was at Chris's front door at 12:10 p.m. is a rock-solid confession by a monster. This killer clue was presented to you in another quick, direct, and to-the-point killer video by the king of the case, and the world's newest Chris Watt's router expert. So here's a recap, because this could be the biggest killer clue that proves Nicole Atkinson was directly involved with Shannon's disappearance. Both Chris Watt's Vivant and Nate's Comcast times had the same 1:48 a.m. time on Monday. Chris admits he saw 2 different people on his doorbell video between 12:02 p.m. and 12:10 p.m. Shannon's phone connected to the router at 12:07 p.m. Atkinson admits she was at the front door at 12:10 p.m. Coder says he is going to organize the search of Chris's house and bring in some FBI tricks. Coder said they would start early in the morning on August 15th. Coder said a cop was guarding the front of Chris's house overnight, and a cop was guarding the back of Chris's house. The fake 5:18 a.m. video was filmed at 5:18 a.m. August 15th. Baumhover arrived in Chris's house at 6 a.m. August 15th. At 6:22 a.m. on August 15th, the police are tampering with Chris's router and switch it to Pacific time. But not just Pacific time, fall-winter Pacific time. At 7 a.m. on August 15th, the door-to-door neighborhood canvass continues. When the discovery is released in November 2018, Chris's router time is only now off by 2 hours. However, Chris's phone showed a time of 1:48 a.m. that matched Nate's camera time of 1:48 a.m. time. This proves Chris's router was not off by 2 hours on Monday. Therefore, because the times match, Nate's camera proves that Atkinson had Shannon's watch at 12:07 p.m. when it connected to Chris's router. I will say this again. Nate's camera, not Chris's, proves Atkinson had Shannon's watch at 12:07 p.m. We do not even see Nate's camera capture Atkinson at 12:02 p.m., 12:07 p.m., or 12:10 p.m. Yet Nate's camera still proves Atkinson had Shannon's watch. This is so because Nate's camera proves that Chris's router was not off by 2 hours. And it proves this because the 1:48 a.m. time on Nate's camera matches the exact same time of 1:48 a.m. on Chris's Vivant time.
Right, 1:48 on here.
This means the 12:07 p.m. time on Chris's router is the correct time of when Shannon's watch connected to the router, and we do not have to add 2 hours to it, so the FBI are simply lying. Thanks for watching, party people. Now watch this.
You can imagine the FBI has some pretty cool tricks and toys and everything.